And in our final story for this edition of the Rolling Stone, let's talk about something that used to be very wholesome, very inspiring, very tough, very inspirational. Let's talk about Captain America, the Marvel equivalent of DC's Superman, Disney's Mickey Mouse. Let's see, who else? Warner Brothers' Bugs Bunny. There we go. Captain Marvel, again, he used to be an incarnation of America herself. That was really sort of the purpose of Captain America. There's the great, iconic cover of the very first appearance of Captain America, I believe, where he actually has the triangular shield. And of course, it's the one where Captain America is punching Adolf Hitler. Okay? It's pure symbolism. It showed that America was going to beat the Nazis in World War II. Captain America was the United States of America, and the United States of America was Captain America. So, of course, he would have to be reappropriated, repackaged, and everything else in our newly uber woke society. There was a few years ago, the big story was that one issue, I think, of it was an Avengers comic, or it was a Captain America comic, or maybe it was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I forget exactly, but Captain America was in it. He was a prominent player. And the comic ended with Cap saying, "Hail Hydra." And everyone was like, oh my gosh, they made Captain America a Nazi! Because, of course, Hail Hydra, that's the Hydra, which was the organization that was commanded by the Red Skull, who was buddies with old Adolf back in the 40s. And then Marvel tried to backtrack it. They said, no. What really happened is that the Red Skull got his hands on the Cosmic Cube, which is this comic book MacGuffin that basically lets you control the very warp and running of reality if you hold it. It's basically a ultimate genie's lamp. If you hold it, it can do anything you want it to, as many times as you want it to, as long as you keep holding on to it. I mean, heck, if you stumble in the dark and you drop it, well, tough toenails, Your girlfriend has it now, and she doesn't like it that you whipped up that harem from 1001 Nights. So, better luck next time, buddy. But anyway, they said, no. The Captain America only said Hail Hydra because the Red Skull had gotten his hands on the Cosmic Cube for the bajillionth time, and he had rearranged history so that Captain America had always been a Hydra agent. And if someone, just someone, could wrestle that Cosmic Cube away from Red Skull and set the timeline straight back, we would have Captain America again, as he always had been in all of his glory. And then Marvel backtracked from the backtrack, because then you found out that Captain America being a Hydra agent was actually what had happened. It had been some agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., I forget the name, this has been several years ago again, guys, had gotten the Cosmic Cube and had rearranged history previously so that Captain America had been on the side of the Angels and had fought against Hydra and the Nazis during World War II. When Red Skull got his hands on the cube, again for the bajillionth time, all he did was set everything back to how it had originally played out. So, message? Captain America was a Nazi and has always been a Nazi, and he was only ever not a Nazi when some do-gooder over at S.H.I.E.L.D. got the Cosmic Cube and fiddled with the timeline and history and everything. Great times can be had by all. Look at this amazing hero. Well, now, Marvel is making another Captain America figure, another character to take on the identity of Captain America, except this one is going to be gay. Oh, how utterly predictable and dull. Headline from the New York Post: Marvel to debut gay Captain America character during Pride Month. Well, isn't that just peachy king? From the story: Marvel Comics unveiled its first gay Captain America character this week, and is set to debut the role in June during Pride Month. The character, Fischer, will be included in the upcoming United States of Captain America comic book miniseries Entertainment Weekly reported. In the storyline, Fischer, who protects homeless youths and runaways, is discovered when Steve Rogers, that's the original Captain America, and 3 other characters launch a mission to find Steve's missing shield, which makes it sound like an episode of Blue's Clues, honestly. Aaron is inspired by heroes of the queer community, activists, leaders, and everyday folks pushing for a better life. Creator Aaron Trujillo told the outlet, "He stands for the oppressed and the forgotten. I hope his debut story resonates with readers and helps inspire the next generation of heroes." Yeah, that is actually going to be quite a challenge, since probably no one is going to really read this comic, because the sad truth, gang, is that we are on the verge of the end of the comic book. Now, I am not an expert in comic books by any stretch of the imagination. I love collecting old ones. I love collecting old comics when they were actually comic books, when they were actually fun, when they were actually a form of escapist entertainment. And I love collecting those. Right now, I'm collecting ROM from 1970s, debuted in 1979, I believe, and it lasted 70 some odd issues from Marvel. Very cool. I'm also collecting The Shadow Strikes, which was a DC publication, because I love The Shadow, and it is a wonderful, wonderful series. Again, didn't last too long. I think it lasted, what was it, 30 some issues, and maybe a couple of annuals. Shadow Strikes, ROM is very good. I just got my hands actually on an original edition, all 4 issues of Batman Year One. That was, that's kind of the crown of my collection right now. But as for modern comics, I couldn't care less about them. There was a time about 9 years ago, I did try getting into comics, because Dynamite was actually going to start publishing books with the old pulp heroes. They were going to do the Shadow, they were going to do the Spider, and they were going to do the Phantom. And I was living in Chicago at the time, and I found a little comic book shop at the, let me think here, up in the north side of Chicago. So I would take the Red Line, go past Chinatown, get off, I forget where, and then I would walk, to this little comic book shop once a month. I would make the trip on a Saturday and see if they had new issues of the Shadow, of the Spider, of the Phantom. Never found the Phantom, but I got several copies of the Shadow, several copies of the Spider, and then several copies of Dynamite's Avengers answer, which was called Masks, which was supposed to be this big gathering of all the pulp heroes: Green Hornet, Shadow, the Black Terror, the Green Llama, let's see, who else? Zorro was in there too. Never really got into it, to be honest, because first of all, they were almost $4 a pop. They were $3.95 plus tax, and then I quickly realized that the stories just were not very good. These were not the characters that I had grown up with. There was little insertions about politics. There was, at what we would call back then, political correctness, and just sort of this general feel that I didn't care, and I didn't care for it. And it certainly didn't justify me spending $12, $15 a month on all these comics taken together. And so I just stopped. I got out of the habit. And that is what has happened to the comic book industry in and of itself. So that now is not for entertainment. It is not even for keeping these characters alive. It is for the promulgation of wokeness. Here is a great article that was published June 8th, 2020, last year, on the website First Post. Headline: How the West's Wokeness Killed a Marvel Called the Comic Book Superhero. And I'm going to butcher this name. My apologies again. It was written by a man named Abhijit Majumdar. And this is how, this is part of what he talks about. Marvel's newest crop of characters have been greeted with howls from comic fans. Superheroes capture the popular imagination because while they start out as a regular man or a tormented guy like Peter Parker or Bruce Banner, or not like Bruce Wayne, they go on to acquire extraordinary powers and great moral standing. This is exactly why the new Marvel crop is such a buzzkill. The characters include a gender non-binary crime fighter called, guess what? Snowflake. Its sibling is the equally inanely named Safe Space. Another one, Screen Time, looks like a poor knockoff of Ben 10. He is apparently a meme-obsessed super teen whose brain became connected to the internet after becoming exposed to his grandfather's experimental internet gas. Internet gas. Beat that. The heroes are so self-consciously multiracial, only the villain, cheesily named B-negative, is white, physically unremarkable, and gender-wise contrived that it reeks of being patronizing about race, body, and sexuality. The creator of these puny marvels, Daniel Kibblesmith, is hardly a Stan Lee 2.0. Legends such as Stan Lee and Hayao Miyazaki were guided by their freewheeling imaginations, not by concepts and political punchlines. Kibblesmith leans on the latter. And in fact, what they are now doing, what Marvel is now doing to Captain America, has actually happened before. I mean, if you look back, there was an article last year again on the website Hollywood in Toto, which chronicled that, Iron Man had now been replaced by a teenage girl called, what was it, Ironheart, I think. Thor, who was, in the comics, he had the alter ego of Dr. Donald Blake. He had been replaced now because Jane Foster now, for some reason, was worthy to wield Mjolnir. And so Jane Foster became Thor. She wasn't Thora, she wasn't Thorax, she wasn't a female version of Thor. She wasn't her own character who just got the hammer and got the powers of Thor. They made it very clear that no, she is Thor. She is the god Thor. And for some reason, every time she uses the power, she dies a little bit more from cancer. That doesn't even make sense. The Incredible Hulk was replaced with Amadeus Cho, teenage Asian super genius. Iceman, the irascible teen horn dog of X-Men fame, suddenly discovers he's gay despite no evidence of such in 50 plus years of Marvel stories. They did the exact same thing over on the DC side with the very first Green Lantern, whose name I forget. It is not Hal Jordan. They wouldn't dare, at least at that point in time when DC did that, they didn't dare do that to Hal Jordan because he is sort of the uber Green Lantern. I mean, there are dozens of others. There's Guy Gardner, Kyle Rayner, Jon Stewart. But Hal is sort of like he is the Green Lantern. When most people think of Green Lantern, they think of Hal Jordan, unless you grew up with the Justice League TV show, with the animated Justice League TV show, in which case the Green Lantern was Jon Stewart. That show is awesome, by the way. It has not gotten dull with time. It's only gotten better, I think, in time. Like so many things from the past when things were much more simple and in a lot of ways better. But this is what comics have done. This is where comic books have gone. And this is so the irony when the creator of this new gay Captain America says that he wants to inspire a whole new generation of heroes, that is going to require people actually reading your comic. But nobody is reading the comics anymore because people don't want to be preached to. They want to be entertained. They want to be entertained. They don't want to be preached to. Why would they want to be preached to when the entire culture is preaching to them 24/7? They want an escape from reality. They don't want reality just hammering them again on the head after they've spent $5 on a comic book. And on a deeper and more personal note, gang, this is, in a sense, the appropriation of America itself. Which sounds silly again, but circling back to what I said at the very beginning, Captain America being an incarnation of the United States itself. These people at Marvel know that. These people at Marvel, they definitely know that. And so when they make an entirely new Captain America like this, they are definitely saying something about what America is supposed to be. And therefore saying that if you oppose the woke ideology in any way, shape, or form, you're against Captain America. You're against the United States. They are, through Captain America, they are appropriating the very image of America itself to be used as an ideological weapon against their own fellow citizen, their own fellow Americans who are now being excommunicated and declared anathema as the woke ideology continues to march on. And these great characters are going to die. So my advice is find the old issues of Captain America. Find the old adventures of Captain America. Read the real Captain America. And don't read this. It's just more of the same. It's more of the same, which is really the big crime of it, that it is so unimaginative. Comics used to be, as Mr. Again, I'm going to butcher his name, Mr. Mujumdar said, you know, comics used to be very imaginative. Look at the artwork of Steve Ditko. Glorious. But now, it's not imaginative. It's just a dull repetition of everyone else saying the same thing. Saying the things that we are supposed to say to be considered to be part of the angels. Gang, on that note, I am leaving it at that. So, have a great weekend. Take care. Stay safe. Stay free. There is going to be another On the Stone video this coming week. I apologize again for getting them out so late. Some people, I think, are starting to get a little miffed at that. I apologize again, just trying to do so much. Maybe I've taken too much on my plate, but we are going to have a regular On the Stone video about HR1 and about the deeper issues of that this coming week. I hope you will all watch it. Think that we'll learn a lot. I think it'll be a good one. So until then, guys, stay safe, stay safe and stay free, and I will chat at you later. Ciao.